Now we have another one that I've just decided to add this very minute. Number 25, the Atelier of Power Event Producer Series, which is called Waiting for It to Happen. This is the biggest cause of failure ever. It's called waiting for it to happen. Or procrastination. I'll put it off till some other time, or somebody else is doing something. Now, this is a really destructive practice. Now, one thing we make really clear in the teaching courses is what is a major difference between the highly successful, brilliant, world-class musicians and the amateurs. We go into this clearly in the Liberation, like the second of the Atelier of Power series. In the Liberation course, we actually work directly with the biggest difference between the great successful musicians and the amateurs. The great successful ones are the ones that do the hardest tasks first. Now, the actual exercise for learning that at all minds is in the Liberation course. On this video, we only will mention the subject. But the people who are not serious or are not going to make it do the easiest thing first. That is one of the greatest differences between the person who will be a multimillionaire, do really well, and who never gets anywhere. So waiting for it to happen is putting yourself in the smaller class. And one of the ways of waiting for it to happen, there's going to be a book launch. Oh, okay, we'll wait for the book launch because, no, I want the book launch to be something extra. I want the event producer to produce the event. End of story. If I add something else, I am adding something else. It is additional. The event producer should produce everything without needing to depend upon me doing anything. I have 17 books to write. So the event producer is best if they, for example, look at my website, transform.org. Now, my very good friend Arlene Davis, said, there's so much information on transform.org that any event producer that asks me anything is wasting my time, because the only problem with transform.org is that it has too much information. The event producer that's going to ask me questions, what should I put in an advertisement, in Arlene's description, is like the person wants me to eat their lunch for them, chew it up and put it direct in their mouth because they're too lazy to lift their spoon. Like an organizer who asks me questions instead of going straight to the website. That website has too much information. Why? Because after nearly every course, I have event producers asking me for more information. And silly me kept writing more information. But I didn't ask more information than what? More information than they hadn't bothered to read. There's too much information there. They don't read it. They ask me to send them a link to the part that they want. If I were to organize for somebody, I'd memorize their website. If I want to book a plane ticket, I memorize their website, and even then there's tricks. If I go to an airline counter, I've memorized their rules. I have to know their rules better than they do because they don't know their rules very well. So a good event producer will have actually learned the information and only ask me some particular thing that's relevant to a particular area or place, or notify me a list of extra things that might be required that should go on a website. Give me a list. Not talk to me about one thing, but give me an exact list of everything they believe needs to go on a website. Sure, I'll go put it on a website. But a conversation about Oh, one thing is missing. What's that? Can you send it? And I said, yeah, but I sent it last week. Oh, I'll go and check my email. This is what people find normal. Well, that does not grace my time. So anyone that does that is going to get turned into yet another video. So please, take a look at the information. Don't wait. And one way of waiting is, another person is so busy helping, so I'll work less. Well, that's completely crazy, because each person helps in different ways. I know somebody who's really good at confirming people for the workshop, much better than anyone else can, only if she does not have to do it. So if, when there's 4 people calling people to the workshop, she can just, if they have any problems, she just calls and can confirm the person, and loves to do this. But when the other 4 stop because she's so good, well, she isn't good if she's under pressure. Some people are good under pressure. Some people are better when they're not under pressure. They're not the same. So as soon as you stop doing your part because somebody else is doing another part, it's actually making a mess of the event. The sensible thing to do, if I am doing something extra, like, I'm making a book launch, that means you should work harder, not less. If I'm going to do a public lecture, well, do what Vista did when the first public lecture he organized. He told people that everyone that wanted to come to the public lecture to decide, he said, well, you can come to the public lecture to decide you want the course, but the course will be full before the public lecture. And it was. It was full before the public lecture, because that's the belief he chose. So just because there's a public lecture and you wait for somebody else to do the selling, that is completely crazy. The idea of a public lecture would be to get extra people, to get a positive problem. For example, there's too many people, we can't fit them in the room. Well, a positive problem is the best type of problem. Now, what the human mind always does is make up problems. The human mind does this, it does invent problems, and you're not going to stop it. But what you can do is give it positive problems, so you profit from the problems. And that's what would happen if you, there's going to be a public lecture, I'm going to ignore that, I'm going to fill up the workshop room. And then get to the public lecture, we have a positive problem, we can't fit the people. Very good, we'll hold the public lecture anyway and double the positive problem. That isn't the intelligent way to work, because then the mind will not make up stupid problems, it will make up good ones. How to solve what to do with the excess success. Anyone that has any doubts about this was really clearly expressed by Napoleon Hill in 1918, so go back and revise such materials. Over and